Cancer, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of July. So before I get started, this is going to be most applicable for your rising sign. It's also the ruler of your first house. If you're running your free birth chart out there, that would be it. It's your sun sign as well, and also your moon sign. And so your rising sign is how other people perceive you, so it's your physical self. Your sun sign is how you express yourself. And then your moon sign is how how you perceive other situations or just kind of interpret everything emotionally, internally. And so kind of jumping into the energy of the month first, happy birthday, because we are in Cancer season. We are going to have a second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So that's pretty significant, only because we typically get one a year. This one is special. We get two. So we had one just as the sun entered into your sign. And then right before the sun leaves your sign and enters into Leo, we have a second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. And the dates are June 21st and July 21st. So we'll talk about that more as we kind of get into the astrology. We also have a lot of major retrogrades happening this month and kind of already happening anyway. So Pluto is already retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. We just had Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces on June 29th. And then we'll have Neptune in Pisces station retrograde, as well as Chiron in Aries. And so these two are significant, more so because you have Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces and both going retrograde. And Chiron, it's the wounded healer. And so there's things that are coming to the surface. There's a lot of internal reflection this month. Kind of speaking of that, so the first major transit we have this month is actually Neptune stationing retrograde. And so this happens, again, in the sign of Pisces, just a few days after Saturn station retrograde. So this one's on July 2nd at 6:40 in the morning Eastern time. And where this impacts you is your ninth house. And so Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And so this is all about your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, things like that. And for you, this occupies your ninth house. Ninth house is higher education, it's growth, it's long distance travel. So there's a lot that kind of sits within that ninth house energy. And what you're doing now is a lot of internal reflection around what are your goals here? What kind of growth do you want to see for yourself? Does it involve some sort of travel or going back to school to earn some sort of advanced degree? Does it relate to maybe moving to another country or something along those lines? Because there's a lot that really sits in that ninth house. And when Neptune stations retrograde, it will trine Mercury in Cancer, which is you, it's your physical self. And so Mercury in Cancer is about your self-expression, kind of a little bit more amplified since you're kind of there anyway with the first house energy. That is how you're expressing yourself and how other people are seeing you. And so there might be something really connected to your emotions and expressing how you feel about the growth that's taking place or the growth that you want to take place. We'll also have Neptune retrograde sextile Moon in Taurus. The Moon in Taurus is sitting in your 11th house of friendships. And so this is your circle of friends. These are the people that you enjoy spending your time around. You feel very grounded around these people. There is this sense of, I want to say, like, they're very practical, they're very grounded people. You just feel very comfortable around them, I think is what I'm really trying to get at here. And so there's this emphasis about whatever internal reflection is going to take place surrounding your growth. There is an opportunity here to really connect that with the friendships that you value and the type of friendships that they are and those people, all of it. It is creating an opportunity. You will have to take action on it if you actually want something to happen. We'll also have Neptune retrograde sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so also sitting in your 11th house. Uranus is one of those transformation planets, but it's not really a comfortable transformation. Uranus just likes to get rid of things. Anything standing in your way, consider it gone. And in the sign of Taurus here, it's very grounded, very practical. So all of these things might have been holding you back in some way. So what is happening here is, as you start to really reflect on your dreams and your goals that you have for yourself, it's also creating an opportunity to maybe let go of old structures or something here that might be holding you back, old ways of thinking, believing. That's also part of that ninth house energy. What is your personal philosophy? What have you told yourself about a situation? Just maybe always believed about a situation that now you're given this opportunity to make some sort of adjustment. We'll also have Neptune retrograde sextile Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And so again, another opportunity to take the reflection on who you want to be, how you want to grow and expand yourself as it relates to some sort of internal transformation. Again, Pluto retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, it's all internal, But this is about liberating yourself from structures, anything that might be holding you back. So it's very similar to that Uranus energy, except where this occupies your chart is in the house of transformation. So there might be things here that you're literally getting rid of, because this 8th house is death and rebirth. It's when you think about the Zodiac, it's kind of that Scorpio energy. In tarot, it's that death card. So it's that death and rebirth energy. So it could be letting go of things like old intimacy issues. It could be power and control issues. There's a lot that sits in that 8th house energy, and what it comes down to is some sort of transformation. Then we have Mercury. I almost said Mars. Mercury enter the sign of Leo. So that also happens on the 2nd, just a couple hours later at 8:50 in the morning Eastern time. And so when this happens, Mercury will trine Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces. I don't know why I can't speak right now. I'll get it together. Mercury in Leo. So this is all about some sort of bold conversation or communication. This is definitely you being assertive, flexing your leadership style, that type of communication, or maybe even thinking that way, maybe internally processing from that strategic standpoint, because Leo is definitely a leader. That is 100% the energy. It's also a very assertive, very animated, can be dramatic too. So just kind of keep that in mind. For you, Leo occupies your 2nd house. So this bold communication is actually going to trine that Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so when you think about any kind of action or communication that you're having surrounding your finances, again, stepping out of your comfort zone, being bold, being very dynamic here, it's blending with whatever growth strategies you want for yourself, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish there. We'll also have Mercury in Leo sextile the moon in Taurus. And again, this bold conversation, communication, this leadership that's coming out of you, it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to feel grounded in your friendships, to really maybe emphasize here what you value about your friends. Mercury in Leo will also sextile Uranus and Taurus. And this is also going to create an opportunity for some sort of changes to take place in your group of friends. And what you're finding is, even though these are in different signs, you're getting very similar energy showing up. So it's really amplifying that energy. And it relates here to any kind of conversations you might have around what you value, which could be your personal property, things that you already own, money that you already have. This Mercury in Leo will also square Chiron in Aries. And so Chiron in Aries is sitting in your 10th house. So your 10th house of career and public reputation. So anything that you're doing as it relates to your personal finances or the things that you value, it is creating some sort of challenge to heal a wound connected to your career or public reputation. We'll also have Mercury in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so this is about bold communication, really being opposite whatever internal changes are happening within you, whatever it is that you need to let go of. It does feel like there might be some resistance here to letting go of something, just because maybe that's part of this bold communication. Maybe there's some sort of sense of security that you've always relied on that now you're kind of almost being shown, do you really need it? Is that something that you want to get rid of? That would be that kind of opposition energy where you just need to find that happy medium. Then we have the new moon in your sign. So that's going to happen on the 5th at 6:57 p.m. Eastern time. And this is the sun and the moon being at the same degree point in the sky. So a very easy blend of the energies. For you, this is all sitting in your 1st house. So this is really kind of getting in touch with your emotional side. How do you feel about yourself? What do you love about yourself? What do you want to nurture about yourself? That is definitely sun and moon in Cancer energy specifically. The sun and moon will also conjunct Venus in your sign. So again, still sitting in your 1st house. And this is going to relate to maybe relationships, maybe how you feel about yourself within relationships, or about the things that you value when it comes to other people. And relationships don't just have to be those romantic relationships. This could really be any type of relationship. Venus is the ruler of relationships, and Venus likes to bring things together. So this is a really positive planet. This is a really positive aspect. It's benefiting you in a very kind of outward way, where you might just come across as more happy and more grounded and more like yourself. We'll also have the sun and moon in Cancer trine Saturn retrograde in Pisces. And so everything that you feel, that you love about yourself, that you value about yourself, it's also blending with the internal work that you're doing in order to go after your goals. And so there's this real synergy taking place where it's kind of taking what you love about yourself and kind of giving you the green light to keep going, keep working on your dreams and your goals here. We'll also have the sun and the moon sextile Mars and Taurus. And so this new moon is creating some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of grounded action within your group of friends. So is there some sort of conversation that you want to have here? Because that sun energy is about you expressing yourself and expressing how you feel about yourself, maybe things that are happening here. We'll have the sun and moon square Chiron in Aries. And so this does create some obstacles and challenges as it relates to any kind of wounds coming up around your career or your public reputation. We'll also have the sun and moon square. So it's actually going to square both the nodes. It's going to square the north node and it's going to square the south node. So we're in Aries Libra eclipse season. And what this means for you is however you feel about yourself, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to the work that you need to do within your career. So that wound that you do need to heal, that's all sitting in your 10th house. When it comes to your south node, so your south node is sitting in your 4th house, and your 4th house is your house of home. And what this means for you is this square, it's just creating obstacles and challenges. So there might be something really balanced about your home life or something that you feel really comfortable with in your home life. That is definitely South Node energy. So it might be that you just really enjoy this thing and you don't really want to kind of rock the boat a little bit or kind of dislodge it in some way. And so it's going to create some sort of obstacle or challenge as it relates to how you feel and that comfort you get from your home environment. And then on the 11th, we'll have Venus enter the sign of Leo. So that's going to happen at 12:19 in the afternoon Eastern time. Venus, again, rules relationships, wants to bring things together, specifically people, definitely that type of energy. Leo, very loyal energy, can be very dramatic, like I said before, but very outgoing, very dynamic. Love to see these two kind of blending together. This Venus in Leo will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so what's happening here is really what you value about your personal finances or the things that you value in general. It's really blending with whatever internal changes or internal reflection that's taking place as it aligns to your growth goals. So who do you want to be? What kind of career do you want to have? Do you need to go back to school? Do you want to travel? All of those things. And so it's going to blend really easily here. We'll also have Venus in Leo, sextile the moon in Virgo. And for you, again, focus here on really what you value and kind of treasuring what you value with that second house energy. It's creating some sort of opportunity here for you to maybe speak in a way that is very grounded, very practical. It's also a healing type of energy. So if there's something here, maybe you want to express how you feel, from a communication standpoint, express what you value. That would be this type of energy. Venus in Leo will also sextile Uranus and Taurus. And again, going back to really emphasizing here, what do you value? What are you holding on to? What do you just love about either your personal finances or just where you are right now? The things that matter the most to you. It's creating some sort of opportunity for changes to take place within your community. And so these are practical changes. It's in the sign of Taurus. Venus is the ruler of Taurus, so it's really that type of energy as well. When it comes to what you value, it's creating an opportunity. So it's bridging what you value, maybe from a physical standpoint, money, art collection, cars, whatever it is that you have. It's creating some sort of opportunity here for you to take some sort of grounded action with your friendships, to remove anything that just doesn't belong there. We'll also have Venus in Leo square Chiron in Aries. And so when it comes to your personal finances, it is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing some sort of wound as it relates to your career and public reputation. So it feels a lot like there might be things that you value and you're very bold and you're very kind of loyal to whatever that is, but maybe you don't have that same sense of security or confidence when it comes to your career and public reputation. And that could be something here where it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. They just don't blend here. You can work with the energy. It does require you to work through it. We'll also have Venus in Leo, opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so Again, focusing here on what you value, it's going to be opposite any kind of internal change and internal transformation that's taking place. So what is it that you need to let go of? What is it that you need to hold on to? Where does this new beginning start for you? Because somewhere in there, you need to find some sort of happy medium, or you can. It doesn't require you to do it. It is just there for you to work on if you want to. And that's between the internal transformation and really how you feel about your personal property. And then on the 20th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Gemini. So that's going to happen at 4:43 in the afternoon Eastern time. Mars and Gemini. So Mars is the planet of action. Gemini is all about thought and decision and really processing information. It's communication. And so this is a lot of informed type of action that's going to take place with this Mars and Gemini energy. Where it impacts you is sitting in your 12th house. And so this is a lot of internal reflection around decision making, thinking things through, just making sure you have everything the way that you want it to be, because this Mars and Gemini will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so really thinking through, coming up with some sort of game plan here on how do you want to grow? What are your goals for yourself when it comes to your own growth? We'll also have Mars and Gemini sextile the moon in Virgo. And so the internal reflection and decision making that's taking place, it's also creating an opportunity for you to speak up and speak out as it relates to maybe how you're feeling about all of this, understanding the details. Because that Virgo is sitting in your 3rd house, and both of those are about communication. Virgo does have a healing element to it as well, so there might be some sort of healing conversation that is presented to you as it relates to, thinking about you, your growth strategy, because this is all happening at the same time. We'll also have Mars sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so again, when you think about your internal thinking things through, making some sort of decision here, it's creating an opportunity for you to make changes within your group of friends, but changes that are meant to be practical. They're meant to kind of hold on to what you value and kind of let everything else go. Uranus is a planet of transformation, and it does not like to hold on to things that don't belong. We'll also have Mars in Gemini square Chiron in Aries. And so this square, again, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to healing some sort of wound as it relates to your career or public reputation. And it kind of almost feels like the time isn't right to address this. We will have Chiron station retrograde at the end of the month, and so it's going to be a little bit more clear how you can kind of manage through some of these energies. But for now and for the majority of the month, we have a lot of planets that are just in opposition. We have Mars in Gemini opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so your internal reflection, decision making, really understanding all the details, it is opposite to any kind of transformation that's taking place. So again, when it comes to things that you need to let go of, is there something that you're holding on to that maybe you're just not quite ready to let go of, or something maybe now it's coming to the surface and you're given this opportunity to find that happy medium between these two energies, find a way to work with it. And then on the 21st, we have our second full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So that's going to happen at 6:17 in the morning Eastern time. And it's similar, but it's not really going to be, just because of where it is within your chart. It's moved. It started at the beginning of Cancer. Now this one's happening at the end of the Cancer cycle. And so what's happening here is Moon in Capricorn is sitting in your 7th house. We've got your Sun in Cancer that is sitting in your 1st house. And so there might be some way that you feel about relationships. They might be very structured, maybe even a little bit restrictive. And that is opposite to how you want to express yourself, or maybe the way that you feel about yourself. And that's that kind of push-pull energy. So really kind of focus here on those significant one-to-one relationships. Marriage partner, if you are married, not everybody is and not everybody wants to be. So it is those significant one-to-one relationships. And what happens during the full moon specifically is that we'll have planets talking to each other, but they're just going to talk differently. And so the moon will trine Mars in Gemini. And so how you feel about maybe some sort of structure or, whatever you have in place with your significant relationship will blend with the kind of internal reflection taking place that Mars and Gemini sitting in your 12th house, really thinking things through. So there's a real blend of the energy around what actions do you need to take, something here maybe related to the structure of this relationship. A lot of thinking, a lot of understanding all the details and the implications. We'll have the sun in Cancer, sextile Mars in Gemini. And so where the moon blended with the energy here, it's creating an opportunity. So how you express yourself is creating some sort of opportunity for you to take some sort of informed action as it relates to who you are, what you want, all of those things. We'll have the moon square Chiron in Aries. And so again, how you feel about your significant other, it's creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to some sort of wound connected to your career or public reputation. Again, it's a square. You can work through it. It just does require you to work on it. We do have the moon in Capricorn, trine Uranus and Taurus. And so this is a really easy blend of energy. So when it comes to your significant relationship and it comes to your friendships, this is a really easy blend. They seem to be similar enough in ways that you feel like you have this really great relationship with both, or a similar type of relationship with both. I should phrase it that way. We'll have the sun in Cancer, sextile Uranus and Taurus. And so when it comes to any kind of transformation, getting rid of all those things that don't belong in your group of friends, the sun in Cancer sitting in your first house, it's going to give you an opportunity to let go or release something here, or maybe lean into that energy a little bit, because Uranus is going to remove these things whether we like them or not. And so it's more about creating an opportunity for you to feel grounded in your relationship. Whereas your existing relationship with your significant other, whatever changes are happening with your friends, it aligns with your current relationship or relationships, those one-to-one relationships. We'll also have the moon in Capricorn, sextile Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so how you feel about your significant relationship, the structure that exists there with this other person, it's creating some sort of opportunity for you to do more reflection around your own personal growth. Or it could even be your belief system. Is there something about your belief system that's coming to the surface here? Because that ninth house energy is about your personal beliefs. So these would be things that you're taught as a child, things that you've always believed to be a certain way. That Capricorn energy, kind of similar in some ways because it is very structured. And so there might be something here where you're kind of thinking things through and it's creating an opportunity. We'll also have the sun in Cancer, trine Neptune retrograde. And so this is where expressing yourself really aligns with the growth that you want for yourself, that internal reflection that you've been doing. And then we'll have the moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so how you feel about the structure of your one-to-one relationships, those significant relationships in your life, it aligns with whatever is transforming within you. So whatever it is that you're ready to let go of, whatever it is, whatever you're ready for, like new, whatever new you're getting ready for, there is an easy blend. We'll also have the sun in Cancer opposite Pluto retrograde. And so where the moon was conjunct, the sun is opposite. And so this is that push-pull energy. So you expressing yourself is going to be opposite to that transformation that's happening within you. Then we have, because again, like this is all happening really close in time. So that last full moon in Capricorn is going to happen at 6:17 in the morning on the 21st. The next day, less than 24 hours later, we have the sun enter the sign of Leo. And here, this happens on the 22nd at 3:45 in the morning Eastern time. And the sun actually rules the sign of Leo. So a lot of optimism, a lot of that bold kind of dynamic energy really being amplified here. For you, the sun in Leo is sitting in your second house. So this is your house of personal finances, the things that you value. And when the sun enters the sign of Leo, it will trine Neptune retrograde in Pisces. And so anything that you think of, any kind of action that you want to take as it relates to your personal finances or the things that you value, it's going to blend with whatever internal reflection you have going on as it relates to your growth. We'll also have the sun in Leo, sextile Mars in Gemini. And so thinking again about this kind of bold action that you might want to take as it relates to your finances, it's creating an opportunity for you to do more internal reflection, really understand what actions do you need to take internally as it relates to your finances. So think of like your spending habits, your saving habits. These would be things that are probably ingrained inside you. That would be 12th house energy. And what you're doing now is understanding or given an opportunity to really understand what is the impact of those behaviors that you already have. How does that kind of give you some sort of opportunity to maybe do something more with your finances? Because this is bold action. This Sun in Leo wants you to be bold, step out of your comfort zone, go after it. We'll also have the Sun in Leo sextile Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so when it comes to your personal finances, anything bold, any kind of bold action here, it's creating some sort of opportunity for more changes to take place within your group of friends. And again, with Uranus, what Uranus is doing is just getting rid of anything that doesn't align with that Taurus energy. Something here that's just not practical for your growth. It's about removing those obstacles. And then we'll have the Sun in Leo opposite Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so for you, this is second house, eighth house energy. Sun in Leo is sitting in your second house of your personal finances. So this is money that you already have. And it's opposite any kind of internal change that's taking place, internal removing of barriers as it relates to eighth house energy. So this could be internal transformation, or this could be the money that you earn from an outside source. So think of like the money that you get from an employer, or this could be some sort of inheritance. It could be a spouse's income, could be debt, things like that. So it's money that's not yours, but you have a connection to it. So there is some sort of opposition here. And then on the 25th, we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Virgo. So that's going to happen at 6:42 in the evening Eastern time. And Mercury actually rules Virgo. It rules Gemini, but it also rules the sign of Virgo. And when Mercury enters into this Virgo energy, it's going to sit in your third house, so more communication. You've got Mercury, Virgo, third house. I mean, this is a ton of communication. And it will trine Chiron in Aries. And so with the Virgo element, there's a healing component to this conversation. There might be some healing component to understanding the details, the impact of it all here. This is going to easily flow with whatever wound you have as it relates to your career and public reputation. So it's going to give you some sort of guidance on what healing action you need to take. This Mercury in Virgo will square Mars in Gemini. And so this is where the actual action that you need to take, because that Mars energy is very action oriented, there is going to be some sort of obstacle or challenge because the action that you need to take is internal as it relates to this Mercury in Virgo sitting in your third house. So this is a lot of understanding, not really taking any action, but of understanding what needs to be done in order to heal this. We'll also have Mercury in Virgo square Uranus and Taurus. And so again, really getting into the details of things, understanding the complexities, that healing energy. Mercury in Virgo will square the Uranus and Taurus energy. And so when it comes to your friends and it comes to the changes taking place here, understanding again, because it kind of goes back to that Chiron in Aries, this wound has been showing up in a lot of ways that's been holding you back. But now what you're doing here is kind of thinking things through, and what you're identifying is any obstacles or challenges that this is going to present to you. How do you navigate this energy? Because you can, it's a square, you just have to work through it. And then towards the end of the month, so on the 26th, at 9:59 in the morning Eastern time, we'll actually have Chiron station retrograde in the sign of Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer. Retrograde does indicate that there might be some hidden wounds that are coming to the surface, but in the sign of Aries, there is some sort of action that needs to be taken here in order to heal them. And right away, when Chiron stations retrograde, it will be conjunct the moon also in the sign of Aries. And so this is where you're really going to understand what it is that you need to do, or how you feel about taking some sort of action here to heal the wounds coming to the surface as they relate to your career and public reputation. We'll also have Chiron retrograde trine Mercury in the sign of Virgo. So just like we saw the day before when Mercury entered Virgo, it's showing up again here. And so now it's giving you this kind of additional layer of understanding. Okay, this is the wound. This is what I need to do in order to heal the wound. What kind of action is required of me in order to do that? And we will also have Chiron retrograde trine Venus in the sign of Leo. And so when it comes to the wound connected to your career and public reputation, there is going to be a blend as it relates to your personal finances, what you value, what kind of action, what do you want to do with your personal finances, that Leo energy, very, again, bold, dynamic, very interested in doing some sort of expansion with this, because that is absolutely Leo energy. So if you just take the time to maybe focus on what you value here, you're given an opportunity to really heal whatever wound is coming to the surface. There's something really grounding about that. And then last, we will have Chiron Chiron retrograde in the sign of Aries, square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So lots of retrogrades, lots of conversations between these planets having retrograde. What this really means for you is this hidden wound that's coming to the surface in your career or public reputation. It's creating some sort of obstacles or challenges to whatever, I want to say, fresh start that you're trying to embark on. Whatever it is that you're trying to release, whatever transformation that's happening within you, what this is doing, it's almost like it's irritating a wound. This transformation seems to be irritating it in a way, but it's bringing it to the surface so that you can do something about it. So Cancer, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.